Click the button, preparing live
Cool.
stream.
And here we
You know the bummer.
go. Here we go. Are we live?
I think we're live. I think we're live.
We're live. We're just very subdued.
All right, frequent
Mm.
milers, ask us anything. We're now live. Welcome, team.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
How's everyone
Welcome,
doing tonight?
boss.
And remember, for everybody out there who is watching or listening, don't forget to subscribe, enable notifications so you know when we post stuff, and go to frequentmiler.com/subscribe to join our email list. Wherever you're watching or listening, don't forget to like this video, give us a thumbs up, leave us your comments, your feedback, and of course, obviously, tonight, since it's an Ask Us Anything, pop your questions in the box if you're watching this live.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So
we're going to
Nick,
kick things off with a question about where the heck are you, Nick, and why are you like hardly moving when you're talking?
I don't know. I'm moving on my side. Apparently the complimentary Atlantis Wi-Fi that comes with the complimentary Atlantis stay from Caesar's Diamond status is about the quality you might expect. So
Mm.
for the price tag. So anyway, I'm at Atlantis in the Bahamas on the complimentary 4-night stay. So Caesar's Diamond members get a complimentary 4-night stay at Atlantis, and for years you could match from Wyndham Diamond, which you get with just the Wyndham Earner business card for $95, to Caesar's Diamond, and then book this stay. Now that no longer works. You can't match the credit card status to Caesar's Diamond anymore. But before my status ran out on January 31st, I booked a complimentary 4-night stay at Atlantis. I had to change dates a couple of times, and that was no problem. So here we are now. We do have to pay the resort fee, but that's it. Well, I say that's it. That and the food, which is not cheap at Atlantis. But anyway, it's been a good couple of days. We're leaving in the morning. It's been fun. I met a reader named Tyler today. So Tyler, if you're out there, great meeting you today. Yeah, so the kids have really enjoyed it. Atlantis has awesome water attractions, so it's a great place for kids to play and have fun for a few days. The casino is a bit higher. Let's see, higher limits than I may have expected. I
Mm.
knew there were going to be high limits, but it's certainly the you need to bring some money to gamble with if you want to gamble in the casino. And you do have to gamble for 4 hours, so which is possible to do without losing a ton of money if you're strategic about it. But anyway, so yeah, that's where I am.
All
so Nick,
right.
be completely honest. Did you lose your high-speed internet access on a poker tournament?
I did not. I did not. There's no poker sadly here. So
Oh.
Oh,
Is
but
oh
poker your
no.
only,
yeah, I
is
know.
that the only gambling you do? Or is that the only, I don't know.
That's what I would prefer to do. But in the absence of that, there is a sort of a poker based table game, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, but I mean it's a
Oh,
casino game, so it's designed so the casino has the edge. So it's not really the same kind of, it's sort of based on Hold'em. So I will play that, but it's not what I would rather be playing. I did this time around start playing Baccarat, which is
mm.
sort of a classic casino game that you see in the old movies, and I understand why people play Baccarat now. The game is incredibly slow, so if you're getting rated for the purpose of comps, it's a great game to be playing because whatever your average bet is, you're going to get credit for a lot more time than you're going to have to put up number of bets compared to if you're playing blackjack or something like that. So that's a good way to kind of use up your 4 hours, though you do need to be able to handle a little bit of variance because the minimum is $20 here. But at the same time, it's a game that's like basically 50-50. You don't have to do anything as the player. It's just you just put your money up on one side or the other, and the dealer handles everything else. So it's a really easy game. It's probably the easiest game in the casino. It looks the most complicated because of the electronic board, but it's probably the easiest
Hmm.
casino game there has ever been. So I played some
Ooh.
Baccarat this time around, and I would do that again in the future.
How does it compare to like my understanding is that blackjack is one of the ones that has the least advantage for the house.
Mhm.
How does this one compare?
Baccarat's a little bit lower yet. I think it's the best odds in the casino, apart from when you take the odds on the pass line and craps. I think it might be a little bit closer to accurate, but Baccarat it's almost a 50-50. It's almost a coin flip. You're betting on either the player or the banker. There's a very small commission if you bet on the banker side. So a $20 bet pays out 19. A bet on the player is even money. And the only other option is potentially a tie. It's pretty rare though. So it's pretty close to a coin flip every time. So
Nice.
very low house edge, and it's a really slow game. So I understand now why
These
some
sound
people
like-
are really into Baccarat.
These
Sounds
sound like
boring.
bad things.
Well, no, I mean, if you don't want to lose a
Sounds
lot
like
of money, but
Maybe
you
an
want to
unfun way to spend 4 hours.
well, that could be. Some people would consider it but everybody's like looking at the board because the whole electronic board is just to show you like what the last few hands have been, so you can kind of study it, decide, oh, which side would I like to bet? And everybody's like doing this dance, pretending like they're thinking really hard about which side to bet, and really everybody's just stalling, so they don't have to bet so much.
Dang.
So
I don't
Kind of
know.
fun.
I don't
Can you
know.
do a quick, just a really quick demonstration of what the your Baccarat dance moves look like? Just from an upper
I
body.
know,
Like,
you know what?
Is it more of a this sort of thing? Is it
6'7".
Well done, Tim. I did not know that you would find a way to slide that in today, but nicely done.
Saw that coming. All
Yes,
right,
no,
I'm
you'll have to
gonna-
find me in the casino.
I'm gonna
For the
cut
token.
off. Okay, we've talked enough
Please
about
do.
coin
Please
flipping.
do.
Done with the coin flips. Okay, first question. This is for everyone, and we're going to start with Greg. How many annual fees do each of you pay a year? I think we've answered that before, but so hopefully you have a little estimate in the back of your mind. And how often do you fly to earn points and miles?
I'm going to answer the
Nick.
second one first, which is never. I mean, never is an exaggeration, but like the points you can earn from flying is usually such a small, like, piddly amount compared to what you could earn from welcome offers and retention offers and referring people and all those kind of other options that I never really think much about, like, you know, oh, I'm going to fly in order to earn miles. Sometimes, and this is pretty rare, like there's a great fare and maybe it's maybe I could credit the flight to Alaska where they still you still earn miles based on distance, or you still can, and you can do really well. But that's not it. It's usually that usually comes up because I've already decided, well, paying for a flight is a better deal than using miles for a flight, and then, oh, good, I can earn some miles as well. It's kind of an afterthought rather than an intentional thing. As far as how many annual fees, the answer is too many, and I've been actively working on reducing that. So I've written a few posts about how I'm dropping a bunch of cards that have free night certificates, not because it's not that each one of them, like on its own, is a good deal. Like I can always like use the free night certificate that we're paying like $95 a year or whatever, and I could use it for a hotel that maybe would have cost $250. But I'm really sick of like the sort of annual pressure of having to use all these things before they expire, and to make things worse are all these premium cards. So I have a bunch of platinum cards and all these coupons. And again, all those things, all those coupons add up to more than the annual fee. I'm getting way more value than the annual fee, but I'm not enjoying the work involved in getting there. And so I'm trying to trim way down on all those things to get to a normal maybe 30 cards in my household instead of the 75 or so that I have to deal with today.
Yeah. Nick, how about you? Any difference there for you? And as a reminder, again, it's annual fees, but also do you ever fly to earn points and miles?
fly to
I
earn,
would
say,
carbon
JetBlue
copy.
status and/or JetBlue points?
Okay, all right, touche,
Hey,
touche.
let's just, I mean,
guess
just throw a
SAS
random,
was
let's just throw a random program out there. Is that,
That's right.
Touche.
does your family of four ever travel to earn points and miles for all four?
Such a good
Tim,
point.
Tim, of course, is bringing that up because right now we are finally finishing off JetBlue's 25 for 25 promotion. So this is one of those rare times where we are flying sort of just to earn the points, because if you fly to 25 JetBlue destinations by the end of the year, you get 350,000 points in JetBlue Mosaic 1 status for 25 years. And so I had decided to do that with our family of 4, to use mostly Amex membership rewards points and the business platinum pay with points rebate to cover most of the flights for the challenge. And so yeah, we did do it in this case, and it will work out to be a good deal. We'll earn 1.4 million miles collectively, and use, I don't know, 600,000 or 800,000 points getting there. So it's a decent trade, not amazing, but an okay trade anyway. The status for 25 years is really kind of the nice thing, and it's kind of one of those quirky, fun things. And it's gotten us out to visit a whole bunch of places we wouldn't have otherwise. We might not have done this Atlanta stay if not for the fact that JetBlue flies to Nassau, and so that was really kind of part of the challenge. But otherwise, carbon copy of Greg's answer, like the number of miles earned from a flight usually are not enough to move the needle for me. That we earn way more points and miles from other stuff every year. So it's an afterthought. Totally agree, and totally agree on everything you said in terms of annual fees. I'm enjoying the free night certificates more than the coupons, actually. So I'm more likely to keep the cards with the free night certificates and more likely to trim some of the coupon cards, because all of the FHR credits and things are just getting to be too much to manage all that. But I agree with the sentiment that Greg is expressing, that it does become unfun when you've got enough. And I don't have 75, but we've got, north of 60, I think, anyway, cards in our household. And so, yeah, trimming it back to 30 probably wouldn't be terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Tim, how about you? Doing any flying for the miles, and what's your annual fee situation?
So I don't fly. I have flown to earn miles in the past, but that was back in the day. It was primarily for Alaska status back when if I needed just a little bit at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year, I thought I might do one or two, because you could get a round trip flight to the east to New York, from Seattle to New York, for $150 and earn more in miles and actual redeemable miles than that $150, and you would get the status points and so forth. In fact, the status points at that point, it wasn't status points, but now it is. So these days, no, not at all. And that's primarily because any overage I can make up by just spending on one of the Alaska cards to get status points. So that's where I would, if there was some sort of difference that I needed to make up, I would just do it that way. In terms of annual fees, I don't, and this is going to sound a little bit, and I'm actually it gives me a great idea for a post. What I would like to do, because I think when that question is asked, it's often asked in the sense of, what cards do you carry from year to year that you pay an annual fee on, and how much are those? But it's difficult for me to answer that because it's very dynamic from year to year. Because the vast majority of the cards that I keep pay an annual fee on, I only keep for 1 year. So, for instance, right now, I have 9 business platinum cards between my wife and I. And without going into the nitty-gritty of that, let's just take 6 of them, I believe, I have, because I upgraded them using an offer where I got 120,000 points for upgrading from a green card to a business platinum card. So we can just do the math on that and say that, and these were all done before the annual fee increase. So we can all do the math on that and say, well, that's somewhere around $4,200, slightly less than that, but about $4,200 for this year. However, those 9 business platinum cards, combined with the new welcome offers that I received, plus the upgrade bonuses, are going to give me, somewhere around over $10,000 cashed out through one of my Schwab cards. So right there, just talking about the points for that first year, I'm $6,000 ahead. So I don't even look at it as an annual fee at that point, so much as I look at it as collectively those cards this year are going to put about $6,000 into my Schwab net, into my Schwab retirement account. Plus, I'm going to get somewhere around $3,600 in Alaska credits, all of the ancillary coupons and so forth, because I'm going to be able to double dip them for the first year. Next year, I'm not going to be spending those annual fees. So there's a lot of cards that are like that, and it's fairly dynamic. So to me, but I do think it's a really good question, because there are cards that I keep from year to year that I do pay the annual fees on. And so it would be fun to break it down into the difference, because that's where that number really to me isn't terribly instructive, because most of them are a first year scenario and not a year to year scenario. And I
Mhm.
think the year to year scenario is probably more the spirit in which that question is being asked. So I think that would be a fun way to break it down and actually find that number. Like how much am
Yeah,
I spending on cards that I keep from year
great.
to year?
Are you trying to minimize your year to year to year, like Nick and Greg, as opposed to
Um,
the first year?
yes,
I don't know
I
if
try to
minimize is the right
minimize.
word, but
Yeah.
reduce.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. And actually, to me, it's the exact opposite of what Nick is saying. And there's a post in there too that I have. I have a big backlog of posts that I need to write. But where Nick, and I actually understand where Nick is coming from. He's cooling on credits and excited about certificates. I'm cooling on certificates and more excited about credits. And part of that is because of the dynamic nature of credits, where I don't have to hold a card to year to year to be able to multiply those credits. Whereas oftentimes with a card, you only get one certificate per year. And we can go into that later and so forth. I can go to that more in a post. But all that to say, where I am reducing is for the first time in maybe a decade or more, I don't have a premium hotel card right now. And that's where I am, and part of that, and there's a big
You don't
long
have the
story
Ritz
that we
card?
don't. No, I don't have a Ritz card.
Wow. Did not know
What?
that.
And that was because my Ritz card was closed a few years
Oh,
ago
yeah.
without my wishes.
Right.
And
Forgot
I
about that.
don't have the boundless card to go back
Mm.
up to the Ritz card yet, because I've been building all that stuff back up. But
And
if I
you're
had the Ritz
aspireless
card,
now, it
I
sounds
would keep the I don't have an Aspire, I don't have the Bonvoy Brilliant anymore. All those cards I'm getting rid of. And that's partially because I want to play it for a while with a little more of the credits and a little less of the certificates.
Mm. Got it. Yeah.
like.
Well, that's neat. That's neat to hear the strategies there. Okay, but I'm gonna move us along. Nick, after
Mhm.
the devaluation of Wyndham Vacasa relationship, is there any more value left in hanging on to the business earner card, in your opinion?
I mean, 8 points per dollar at gas stations. I still think that's worthwhile. I mean, don't get me wrong, Wyndham isn't my first hotel choice, but having some Wyndham points for the times when they are useful to me is at 8 points per dollar. That's what I would always use to fill up my gas tank, I think. And we've debated that a little bit on a coffee break as to which is the best card for a gas return. But I'm happy with that. So I mean, there's a few different angles to look at that from. So first of all, there are some Wyndham properties that I'd be happy to stay at. Some of the vacation club properties look decent. There's a couple in the Smoky Mountains that I've been looking at. There's the one in Manhattan I wrote about not that long ago that has one bedroom apartments essentially in Manhattan for 30,000 points per night. And so I mean, it was plenty of space. I was surprised. It's not like ultra luxurious, but I'd be happy to stay there again for 30,000 points. And there's the all inclusives in the Caribbean. There's a whole bunch of all inclusives that look pretty attractive. So I think there's enough uses of Wyndham points. And then every now and then you get surprised in a different location. I ran into one somewhere in like rural France that looked beautiful. I was like, wow, that looks really interesting. I'd check that out sometime if I have a chance.
Mhm.
So I'm still happy to collect some Wyndham points and have some of them. So yeah, and at $95 a year, I'm happy to trade that for the 15,000 points because it's not like a certificate where I have the pressure to use the certificate. I can hang on to those points until the day when they become useful. So yeah, I mean, I certainly intend to keep it. And then the other angle from which you can look at it is you could also move those over to Caesars. So if you are somebody who likes to go to Las Vegas, then you can move those over to Caesars and they're worth 1 cent each in reward credits. So you can pay for shows, you can pay for, spa treatments, you can pay for dinners and stuff like that at 1 cent each. So again, that's like 8% back at gas stations for that. If you're somebody who goes to Las Vegas, you can move them to the Caesars sports book and use the rewards credits to place bets through the sports book. And so there's ways to kind of sort of cash that money out too with some match betting. So maybe not at 100%, but close enough anyway. So yeah, I'm still keeping the Wyndham Earner business card. I think that's one of those that, at least the way it's structured right now, it's one of those things that I say you'd have to pry out of my cold dead hands. I don't
Oh,
anticipate giving that up anytime soon.
all right. Is that a unique opinion according to Greg and Tim,
No,
or you
you
feel the
know,
same?
even though I dumped all my Wyndham points when I had a chance to convert them to United miles recently, I'm happy to keep the Wyndham Business Earner card. The 15,000 points a year. It's so much better, especially when it's a chain that I don't frequent. To get points instead of a free night certificate that expires in a year means that I can just earn those 15,000 points each year for $95 and eventually, hopefully, have a great use for them. And that's really nice. And of course, the 8 points for per dollar for gas is also really sweet. So it's not like my most valuable card or anywhere close to it, but I don't see any reason to get
Right.
rid of it.
Hopefully the hotels are listening. We'll keep your card if you give us points instead of certificates that expire.
Oh,
All
amen.
right. I think Tim, you're up next. What are your thoughts on the Atmos Summit card? Is it sustainable?
Really quickly, Nick, I may have missed it. Did you mention cottages.com already?
I did not mention that. No.
Okay, so I'm going to put a quick plug in for Nick's post. Nick has a great post that I still refer to every time I go to look for a cottages.com property called How to Book Cottages.com or cottages.com with Wyndham Points. And cottages.com is effectively a UK centric vacation rental service that you can use Wyndham Points to book. And there can be some terrific value there. I just stayed in one this summer that was marvelous. It's very specific, but it actually can be a great use of Wyndham Points that's still available. So I just want to put a quick plug in for Nick's post on that to check it out. Uh, the Atmos Summit cards, it's sustainable. Um, I guess I'm not entirely sure what the sustainable part is. I really like the card. I think there's a lot of really, and I think Alaska put a really, I'm impressed by the thought that Alaska put into it to offer something different than what everybody else was doing in a way that actually made it beneficial for folks who fly Alaska and who use Alaska points to make it something that is worthwhile for them to have. I think there's a lot of really cool benefits. I'm already this week. So and it's funny. I just did some bookings this week for a prospective partner booking in Canada using Porter Airlines, which has some really fun stuff. Another post that's on the back burner. And I booked like 3 different tickets, and I'm going to take one of them. But that was something that in the past I would have given me pause with Alaska, because every time you book a partner reward, Alaska charges you $12.50 per person per segment to book that partner award. Or sorry, per person per direction, not per segment. But you get that wave with the Summit card. And so right there, like I just all of a sudden it's this whole new realm of being able to do these prospective Alaska bookings. And there was ways to get around it before. If you changed a reservation into another reservation, it wouldn't recharge you for the partner booking. But just for somebody that uses the program a lot, that's a really nice benefit that doesn't seem like that big on the front end. The 25K cert is really great. I just started to use that a couple of weeks ago for award tickets for my brother and sister-in-law, because you can easily use it for bookings for somebody else. And I like the way that they've broken up benefits. They could have given, lounge access like the Delta cards do, and the card probably would have been $200 or $300 more expensive. They could have added all of these different, credits for things that are not Alaska related, and had the card fee go up like we've seen with, Chase, Amex, et cetera. And that can be kind of fun too. I enjoy some of that as well. But I just really like that they have created this card that's really tailored towards people that use Alaska's program.
I wonder if they're asking about the sustainability of 3x foreign transactions.
And that's what I was just going to get to.
Yeah.
I think that probably that, and whether it's sustainable or not, what I think is interesting is that it's intentional. Alaska has come out and said that they specifically want this to be a card that expats use, and they added that benefit because they think that it's not something that other cards cater towards. So they're intentionally wanting to get that in the cards of expat or in the wallets of expats, which I think is fascinating. I don't know if that's sustainable long term. I don't know what the metrics are in terms of the balance between how many expats will have it. But the fact that it's intentional and not just something that is made for domestic U.S. residents that they're anticipating will travel abroad makes me think that they're expecting it to be used fairly heavily,
Hmm.
or more heavily than if it were just used by travelers going abroad. So I hope it is, because I think
Hmm.
that's a really cool benefit.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, I'm gonna shuffle us along again. Greg, do you chase status with an airline you don't intend to fly with the intention later matching to another airline? Any opportunities like this that recur periodically?
Um, I mean, I've been known to do it occasionally when there've been really easy opportunities to get status in another program. Um, the most recent thing, and actually, yeah, it's going to be published in about 20 minutes from now as we're talking. I wrote a post about how I was trying to decide whether to chase status with American Airlines or Alaska Atmos, because both programs let you earn status from credit card spend and other non-flying activity. And I was very clear on that post that I don't need status in either one. I don't fly um, Alaska or American often enough for it to matter. And when I do, it's usually because I've booked an award in business class where having status doesn't really matter anyway. And so it's more about like I just like playing the game sometimes, and so I did an analysis like based on my situation, and it's not going to apply to everyone, you know, uh, which direction makes the most sense to. And what I did is I set the goal. I said I want one world emerald status, which you could get from Alaska's platinum status or from American Platinum Pro, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I did like the analysis saying how much spend would I have to do. I made some assumptions about how much I would earn with Alaska by booking award flights, because that's a unique aspect of Alaska's program. Also, how many loyalty points would I earn with American by booking hotels through American's program or shopping through their portal, things like that. And you'll see in the post, but it turned out that Alaska with the Summit card specifically turned out to be it looks like a much better deal for me to get there. So that's the direction I'm looking at going.
All right, great. Nick, you're up next. Um, okay, this actually will get discussed on Friday, somewhat on the podcast, I believe. But talk a little bit about it now. Do a teaser. Hey gang, with platforms like Gondola and Rove, etc., when booking paid stays and flights, what is your typical order of operations with booking paid stays or flights, Nick?
So my order of operations is booking paid flights. I book very few paid flights overall. So I go to Google Flights and look at what the cash prices are. If it's something that I think I would pay cash for, I don't even always go to Google Flights because there are situations like, if I'm flying to Tahiti, there probably isn't a fare that I'm going to pay cash for anyway. So I may not even look at that initially. I might just because I'll write about it, but not because I think I'm going to do that. So tend to start with an award search tool. I use award tool the most, but I use points. Yeah. Also, I set alerts with both of them. And so I'll start with an award search tool and see what's out there. I will sometimes look at Google Flights because I have Points Path installed, and that will give me also quick access to some award rates. And then it kind of depends what I find, as you'll hear us mention briefly during the mailbag segment on this week's show. Sometimes what I see will ring some bells and make me say, oh, well, okay, if this flight is available to that partner, maybe this other partner that doesn't show up through an award search tool will also have access. So as you get to know award programs, that becomes a little bit easier to recognize those things. So anyway, that's really the recap as to what I do, my order of operations for flights. On the hotel side, again, I don't book very many paid hotel stays overall. I just did a post recently, and this year, by the end of the year, I'll have 105 nights in hotels, and out of those, only 18 are paid nights. And out of those
Wow.
18 paid nights, I think there were very few where it probably would have made any difference in the long run. There's one really expensive one that wasn't available through any of the portals, so it didn't really matter in that case. And otherwise, most of them were like $150 nights that altogether the number of points I will earn from those things is relatively insignificant as compared to all of the other things I do. So I don't put a ton of effort in, though, as you'll hear us talk about on the podcast this weekend, there are times where I'll look to stack. We'll stack a shopping portal with a card linked offer, with a credit from a credit card. And we'll talk about some super stacking on this week's podcast. And I have done some of that this year because I will look up the cash rates of the hotels. Now, I should be using Gondola more, to be honest, because it is a really easy to use platform that meets the need that I have when I search. But if I'm being honest, I tend to just use all of the various hotel apps. So I go to the Hyatt app, I go to the Marriott app, I go to the Hilton app, I go to the IHG app. It's slow and time consuming and inefficient and a habit I need to break, but I'm used to doing it that way. And so I tend to look one program at a time that way, and I'll compare the cash rate and the paid rate. Then if I see cash rates are good, then I'll go looking for a shopping portal offer, try to trigger something with Capital One Shopping. And now that Rove Miles is heating up, now I'm looking at Rove Miles. I hadn't been until they've added some new transfer partners and had some incredible payouts. So that's really something that's just been the last few months. I've started looking at Rove Miles more seriously and saying, well, how much could I earn booking through Rove Miles? And is that worth it? Now that they have direct bookings as well, that makes me even more interested, as you'll hear Greg talk about on the podcast this weekend. Being able to book Hyatt and earn transferable miles while you do it is pretty terrific if you're booking a paid Hyatt stay, since those usually aren't available through shopping portals. So there's a little sneak preview. We'll talk about all that sort of stuff on this weekend's Frequent Miler on the Air. So make sure you're subscribed to the podcast. Check that out when it comes out on Friday evening.
Man, you better hope there aren't too many more cool tools or you'll run out of tabs.
I know, right? No, it's not possible, Carrie.
No such thing. No such thing.
No such thing as too many tabs.
Your whole above the fold will be tabs.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to mention something beyond Google Flights for booking paid flights that if you have a platinum card and a business platinum card, either or, Amex has a couple of programs where sometimes international flights are cheaper through them than through like directly from the carrier or through other sort of standard channels. They have their international airfare something or other that's where it's the cash rate, it can be cheaper, and then they have the one where it's the point price is cheaper, and I forget what that's called, but that those are two things, and it's always seemed very random to me, like when you would find those. But one of the things I've been looking at, it usually comes up with international flights where you're looking to book like business class or a premium cabin, and my wife has had a few business trips where they were paying for her to fly business class. So I've been looking at a lot of fares in business class. And one of the interesting things I found is if the best price on Google Flights says it's you book through some random operator you've never heard of, like Jim Sketchy Flights or something like that, then go over to Amex, and Amex usually has a really good price too. That's better than the direct through the airline price. So it's not literally Jim Sketchy, but you see like weird stuff that you just never heard of, and that's a clue. Maybe you should check Amex. Now, I'm not going to say Amex is cheaper than Jim, but when Amex has good prices, it's at least cheaper than any other option that you've probably heard of before and feel okay putting your money into.
Now, but in terms of like your usual flow, like, I mean, I understand you're looking at that if you're looking at paid flights because your wife's got a business trip. But are you regularly looking at the Amex International Airline? Probably, do you regularly log in to search flights through Amex? I mean, I don't. I know that exists, but I don't. Like, is it so? How do you know? Like, because I think the reader's question here is like, what's the order of operations? Like, how do you go about this?
Right. I mean, that's the tough thing. I usually just do Google Flights and accept whatever number it says at its word. And I had a situation where we were looking at coming home from Cape Town, South Africa on a specific day, and I'd put in all these alerts for awards, and they were not triggering, and it was getting closer, and so I was looking at paid flights, and on sort of a whim, I looked at Amex and I was like, oh my God, it was way cheaper, which is not something that's like all that normal. But, I
Hmm.
lucked out and got an unbelievable fare through Amex in that situation. And so it happens. And, unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's one of those things like, how do you know whether to bother to look? Because 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be better.
Right.
But yeah, every now and then,
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just another thing to check. Um, all right. Tim, have you heard if it's true Chase will move to EIN only for business cards? Where does that
Um,
rumor come from?
that rumor comes from there's been some rumblings on the interwebs that I believe it was recently. I mean, it's been in several different like Reddit threads and so forth. I believe Doctor of Credit actually wrote a post about this a couple of weeks ago. And the idea is that, or the rumor is that Chase, for its business cards, is no longer going to be allowing what we refer to as sole proprietorships, and is instead being only going to only allow its business cards to be issued to folks who have an employee identification number or EIN. And that would be very inconvenient for a lot of us who have business cards because when it's a sole proprietorship, I can just apply under Tim Steinke with my social security number because a sole proprietorship is would be under your social security number anyway.
Mhm.
Um, and it's not the end of the world if they were to go to EINs because it's not that difficult to get an EIN. And in Washington, I actually have a couple of EINs. And in Washington, all you have to do is once a year, you have to click a box that says I didn't make any revenue to not have to file a tax return on that EIN. But it does make it trickier for a variety of reasons that we won't get into here. Um, the what I had heard was that supposedly Chase was going to formally announce this on November 1st, bless you. And it was going to be start happening somewhere either November 5th or November 15th are the two things I heard. November 1st is come and gone. We have not received, to my knowledge, any formal word from Chase that this is moving. So right now it's in unsubstantiated rumor territory. We actually have it and under our things that we may write about list as something we may write about, and I've been kind of looking at it or like waiting just to see. Like, well, is there any more smoke coming that would might indicate it's fire? But thus far, it's kind of unsubstantiated rumors. It
Hmm.
would be really hard for me to believe that Chase would completely take all sole proprietorships out of its business card ecosystem. Um, not not beyond the realm of complete imagination, but that seems like a choice that would be against their interests. But we'll see what happens. But so all that to say, to
Hmm.
summarize, right now we've heard the rumor. We haven't seen anything to substantiate that rumor so far.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. In the meantime, Greg, moving on to you. What do you think Citi will do with current Barclays Aviator Silver card holders? Grandfather us to force us to the Globe card
Grandfathers or force us to the Globe Card.
or force us?
Yeah. Yeah, sadly, I'm guessing they are going to force product change us to the Globe Card. When the Globe Card first came out, my first reaction was like, "Oh, this is so different from the Aviator Silver that they can't justify pushing us over." But then I realized if you look at it at a very, very high level, it has most of the same features. Of the silver card, such as the ability to earn 15,000 bonus loyalty points a year, even though the mechanism for doing so is completely different. At a high level, they could say they're giving us the same thing. And so my guess is that, yeah, and it's just a guess. I don't have any inside information, but I'm thinking that at some point they will force us over.
All right. Nick, For the Chase Sapphire Reserve's 1.5x eligible points, how does it get affected if you transfer points or spend them on non 1.5x redemptions?
Okay, before I answer that, I'm just going to say at the AA Globe card, every time it gets mentioned, I hear the Harlem Globetrotters
Oh,
music in my head. It's killing me. It's killing me. Can I just
You
hear the
always,
whistle?
always, always have a song in your head. That is the Nick way.
Bum, 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 bum. Ba-dum-ba-bum. Anyway, I wish that the Globe card made me as happy as the Harlem Globetrotters do, but unfortunately it doesn't. So anyway, getting back to the answer here, my understanding is that the points that are eligible for 1.5x redemptions will get used first. And it doesn't matter if it's not a 1.5x. Well, I mean, you're going to get 1.5x initially, but my understanding is those points get used first. Am I wrong about that, Greg? Tim, hop in.
No, I don't know. I mean,
okay.
the
That's
question
what
is so
I'd
like
read.
if you
Yeah, it's when you
transfer,
transfer points to Hyatt, for instance,
right. So
they'll
let's
be
say
your
you
one
have
and a half points, I
200,000
think.
points in your account, 100,000 of them qualify for the 1.5x, and you transfer 100,000 points to Hyatt.
Mhm.
Do
does
you
that
lose
kill
your
your?
ability to get
Yeah.
1.5 on future stuff? I
I
I
think so.
guess
That was my read of the stuff when it
because
came
by
out.
definition they're older points, so they're probably
Mhm.
using the
Right.
older ones first, right?
Goes first. Yeah. That's what I would expect. So I would
Yeah,
expect that they would. I think it'd be easy to test though, wouldn't it? If you've got points in both buckets, just transfer 1,000 over to Hyatt and then see how many,
there you
because it
go.
shows you how many you have eligible for 1.5x versus non 1.5x, right? So I think you could just do one small transfer of some sort in order to see which ones it uses first. I think it's going to use the old ones first.
So someone's got to test it. Got to figure it out. All right. Was that Nick? Yes. Tim.
Yes, it
Actually,
was.
it's not gonna use either because it's gonna try to do a two-factor authentication and it's
Right.
gonna
Right.
fail and
No
not
kidding.
transfer your points
Maybe
at all.
Nick's not the right person to test this
Right,
one.
right. Well, I didn't offer. You did.
Someone else will have to test it. All right. Tim, I think you're next. A question regarding Bank of America approvals. I have a credit score of over 750. I applied for the Alaska Airline Premium Card, was denied because of not having a relationship with Bank of America. Any workarounds? What do you say?
Well, so first, there's a famous quote from I think it's a British Prime Minister that says there's three kind of lies, damned lies, and credit card rejection letters. And so I always take all of that stuff. I think all of us take those to read the official reasons with a large grain of salt, because they have to put a reason there, but they don't necessarily have to put the reason there. They can just list something, right? All that to say, with that caveat aside, Bank of America is known to have looser approval algorithms for people that already have a banking relationship with them in a variety of ways. We have a post called Credit Card Application Rules by Bank or something like that that goes through the Bank of America, all the Bank of America specifics that you can look at and get more detail on it. But that's one of the things. Really easy to apply for a Bank of America account so long as you have a Bank of America location within your state, because they don't like giving, I believe still, they don't like giving checking accounts to people that don't have an actual like a physical location within their state. But if they do, or if you do, wherever you live, there's lots of great promos for Bank of America checking accounts that come along fairly regularly. They're fairly easy to maintain. So I would say you could always try opening up an account, wait till there's a good bonus, get that bonus, then you could try again. There's also, you could go through reconsideration. If you look at that post, the credit card application rules by bank, there'll be a reconsideration number for Bank of America. And you could always call in and say, hey, what's the deal? I have a credit score over 750. How can we make this happen? And sometimes you can, once you actually talk to a human being that's looking at your application, you may be able to get that pushed through.
Yeah. So don't always believe what you see in that letter, I guess. Greg. Um Are Barclays Hawaiian cards going away or sticking around? I don't have immediate need for these miles, but may regret not getting them if this is the last chance to apply.
I'd like to phone a friend. Uh,
Which friend? Pick a
I
friend.
don't know. Nick or Tim, do you remember? I don't
No,
actually
who's
know
where?
anything about what's happening with this. I think we thought they were going away at some point,
Yeah, we
but they
assumed they
haven't.
were, but they haven't. Yeah.
Hmm.
So what's interesting is in the Hawaiian language, the same word means goodbye and hello.
Aloha,
Aloha.
Tim.
So
We just got
that seems
confused.
that seems to me what's going on. I can't imagine that and I think sort of all of us can't imagine that they will let these stick around for forever. But Barclays seems to be insisting that there's no immediate plans for them to go away. So that's what we have. Aloha. That's what we're saying to the Hawaiian cards. All that to say though,
Just got
there
it
are some good
confused.
benefits for a couple of those cards. You can look at it on our best offers page that are useful for some folks. Note that now the Hawaiian cards don't actually earn a separate currency. They're earning Atmos points the same way the Alaska cards do. So when you're saying you don't have an immediate need, understand that the immediate need is for Atmos points, not for Hawaiian miles and whatever you might be seeing about what you could do with Hawaiian miles in the past.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
good point.
Alaska seemed when I got a chance to talk to a couple of the higher ups from Alaska's mileage plan at the time, Atmos now, a little over a year ago, and they seem pretty committed to not keeping Barclays long
That's what it
term.
seemed like.
So
Yeah.
I think we're all surprised. We've all for a while now we've been like, this might be the last chance to get the Alaska cards, and we've been wrong each time we've said that. So you know. You're asking us to make the
Hmm.
same prediction that we've been making for almost a year here and been wrong about so far. I still think they're not going to stick around. I think Alaska's was clear that they like their partnership with Bank of America and want to maintain
Hmm.
that, and that they aren't going to maintain two banks forever. I would assume that Hawaiian just had an agreement with Barclays that lasts for X amount of time, and when that's
Yep.
done, it'll probably end, but we don't know when that is.
They just
So what
forgot
we
about it,
can to
maybe.
say definitively is right now is the time to say aloha to the Hawaiian cards.
Right, right.
Do it now, because
Absolutely. I agree.
we're surprised it still exists. Yeah. All right. Nick. We'll start with you, but this isn't everyone unless Nick can answer it, I suppose. Has anyone had success getting the annual fee waived for the next 12 months for the Wyndham Earner business card? I tried twice this week and was denied. I have 400,000 points and would lose them.
I've never tried, and I can't imagine I would. Like, so no, I've not even thought to try. And that sounds a little silly because we often talk about how retention offers can be useful, and so it can be useful to call in and say you're thinking about canceling a card or you're leaning towards canceling it or something to see what they offer you. I've never even thought to try that with this card because it just isn't a card. I've always been happy to pay the 95
Mm.
bucks for the
No.
15,000 points, and especially in that situation where you're telling me your points. Well, you say you have 400,000 points and would lose them. That doesn't necessarily make sense to me because Wyndham points have
Yeah.
a hard expiration. Doesn't matter whether you have the
Mm.
card or not. So if you're at risk of losing those points, you're at risk of losing those points, whether you keep the
Mm.
card or not. You got to find a way
Yeah.
to
And
use them.
if the bank told you that you would lose all of your points immediately if you canceled your
Right.
card, they were wrong
It's
when they
wrong.
told you that. It's a very
Right.
common thing for
That's true. Good point.
bank, customer service reps to believe.
Yeah.
I think they believe it when they say it, but it's just not true. That's only true when it's the bank's own points that you've accumulated and you cancel the card.
So maybe that's what's going on there.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
good bet, actually.
Yeah.
Glad you made that point.
Yeah. Tim, uh, any word on a higher level ultra premium Delta card?
I'm going to briefly answer and then punt it if anybody else has. I heard rumors, sort of like the Chase AIN thing, that they're thinking about doing I think it's a $995 per year card, or maybe it'll be $4,000 per year. But something that's higher than the current Delta Reserve. But I haven't heard anything concrete beyond that. Have you guys? Either of you guys? Carrie? Anybody?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
So no.
All right. I suppose we'll move on then. Greg, um, Are any of you taking advantage of the Alaska promotion using San Diego as a hub to fast track status to gold or better?
So
What is
that's about
that?
a promo that gave you a fast track by flying through San Diego. No, I'm not, and I know Nick isn't. I'm assuming Tim is not, but I'll let Tim answer. No,
No,
all
I'm
right.
not. I
The
mean,
answer is no.
if it's convenient, it's a decent promotion. I
It
think
is.
it was what you get four with or it's four segments to and from San Diego. You get
I
gold,
can't
right?
remember.
I can't
But it's
remember.
not. It
I
wasn't
wrote the
much.
post and I can't remember. It
Right,
wasn't
right.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It
yeah,
was
it
a
Yeah.
good
wasn't
deal
much.
for
So
someone who's in or near San Diego
Who's
that can
already
fly
going
through
there
there
or
Get
easily.
there
something.
yeah,
reasonably or has
Yeah.
the flexibility to do it. I mean, there's no way I was going to convince my family to do another ridiculous flying around thing this
Right,
year.
right.
So
How
no.
many flights through San Diego to get 25 years of Alaska status?
I mean, now we're talking. Like, I can sell that.
All right. Who did I just ask that question to? Tim, I think, right? Doesn't matter. This is an everyone. We'll start with Greg. Um, Everyone, what is your favorite hotel brand? Not chain, but brand.
That's
Do you
easy.
have one?
I don't have one.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't. I look at individual hotels that I like or dislike. There's not a brand that I say, oh, this is great. I'm always going to go to that.
is there a favorite hotel that comes immediately to mind?
Like hotel,
Mm,
like actual
Yeah,
individual
like
hotel, like
so you,
specific
you
hotel.
said it's more about individual hotels?
I
I
feel like we
mean,
have more pictures of Greg's feet reclining in a pretty location at the Ventana Big Sur, but I may be putting
well, all right. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a really good one. Yeah, let's go with that
All right.
for me.
Nick, how about you?
I'm,
Favorite
I mean,
brand?
I like a DoubleTree cookie as much as
Ah,
anybody, but I don't know that I
yes.
like DoubleTree as as my pick of. Yeah, no, I mean, that's too hard to answer. I think that yeah, I
Okay.
couldn't give you a favorite brand because like I think I kind of I wouldn't say this is a favorite, but like Hyatt Place is convenient as a family traveler because the rooms usually have enough
Mhm.
space, and so
Yeah.
like that's a convenient, and Residence Inn also is convenient. I don't get excited about going to a Hyatt Place or a Residence Inn though, so I wouldn't call them my favorite
Hmm.
brand by any stretch. So yeah, I don't know. I think I can't really answer that for an individual hotel brand.
How about you, Tim?
Well, I think jumping on like along with that, the brands are so fudgy. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they're so
agreed.
fudgy. There's like a Hyatt Regency. One of my favorite Hyatt properties that I've ever been to is a Hyatt Regency on Okinawa, the Hyatt Regency Sarigaki
Hmm.
Island. It is just a marvelous property.
Hmm.
It's better. I enjoyed it more than many of the Park Hyatts that I've been to. Some of the
Mm,
worst Hyatt properties I've ever been to are Hyatt Regencies.
Sure.
Like
Right.
mm.
there, especially domestic US, there are just
Yeah.
some crappy Hyatt Regencies that it's like I wouldn't send my well, maybe my worst enemy, I'd send them there, but not many of them, you know. So I
How
Right.
many
think
worst
that I
enemies do you
think
have?
well, I mean, not
They're
that
all at the
many.
Hyatt Regency.
Yeah, they're all at the Hyatt Regent. They're all at the Hyatt Regency,
It's like you
which
don't
shall
want to
not
send
be
many of
named.
them, so they're not plotting in the lounge.
Yeah, totally. But so anyway, all that to say, like, I don't like to
Yeah.
me now that every hotel chain and has like 57,000 different brands, I just think
67
there's
maybe.
so little consistency between those brands or
Hmm.
within
Yeah.
those brands
Yeah.
that it's more about the location, the specific hotel location, than it is about the brand itself. That may be a cop out, but that's how I'm copping out.
That's I
Sounds like
co-sign
you
that.
guys all kind of
Good
have the
answer.
same thought there. All right. I'm gonna go with Greg because I can't remember where we left off. Um, I'm locked out of Barclays, so I can't get the card. But is there any way to status match to Emirates Silver or higher? I've got Delta Diamond and American Executive Platinum.
Yeah. I mean, so the point of that question is that, Barclays Emirates card would be a path towards elite status with Emirates. And then presumably they want to be able to book Emirates first class, which you have to have elite status to do. That's what I'm guessing is what's behind that question. As far as whether you can match from other things, I don't know. Probably, maybe I would go to statusmatcher.com and see what it says there about because other people post their experience when trying to match from different programs to things like Emirates. So you can look that up specifically and see.
Oh, yeah, good tip. I didn't know that existed. Cool. Here's another everyone question. We'll start with Nick. This will probably be the last question of the evening. What do you think will be the next Maldives? Any new exciting and up and coming locations that you're excited about? I have a prediction of what you're going to say, Nick.
It's probably
Ooh.
wrong.
Okay.
Because I have no idea. I know I was gonna punt this one and say I know I don't know what the next Maldives is, and I don't I can't no, I don't think I have an answer here. I'm
All
gonna
right.
punt to it.
Tim, how about you?
Well, so I think here's the thing, like in terms of the next Maldives, I think the Maldives is going to be the Maldives. And like I don't like there will be a consistent stream of Instagram hot destinations that will continue to cycle through. And the Maldives, to my mind, will still be a worthwhile destination. Um, and I think what's hard for me personally, and probably what's hard for all of us, is that there are very few destinations that aren't exciting. Like, my wife loves Anne of Green Gables. So next year, we're finally going to do for those of you who've never read Anne of Green Gables, it takes place on Prince Edward Island, which also
Yes.
happens to be the only Canadian province I haven't been to.
Oh.
So speaking of the Porter Airlines, about why I was doing Porter stuff, we're going to do a combined Montreal Jazz Festival, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward
Cool.
Island trip. And I've been to Prince Edward to Montreal a bunch of times. I've been to Prince Edward or to Nova Scotia, and now even just looking at it again, it's like, man, I'm excited about this trip. I think it's going to be a blast. Now, how would I compare Prince Edward Island to the Maldives
Hmm.
or Prince Edward Island to Thailand? Which I have never been to actually, and really, really want to go to Thailand. So that might be one of the destinations that Southeast Asia in general. But it's hard for me. Like it's really easy for me to get excited about just about any destination outside of Houston.
How about a 50-50 coin toss at Atlantis?
You know what, though, if we're talking about Maldives now that I had a second to think about it, we're talking about Maldives in the sense of like being an exclusive destination. It's hard to get to. It's expensive to get there. There's like these specialized resorts. Maybe Greenland will become the next of that because now it's becoming more accessible.
Wow.
And, there's more airlines flying there. And so maybe we will see more of those like luxury sort of like, isolated properties and there. I don't know. I mean,
Here's my
obviously it's a
challenge for
totally
you,
different
Nick.
market.
My challenge for you is to take the Maldives partially submerged in the ocean with the sunset behind you picture in Greenland.
Greenland. Well, that's. I mean, it's a totally different thing. But like people go to
No,
Antarctica.
that's an interesting. I
Like
can see
that's
that. I mean, honestly, is Greenland the next Iceland? Would be another way to
yeah,
sort of think about
yeah,
that. Where,
yeah,
15 years
yeah.
ago, Iceland was getting 800,000
Right.
people a year. Now it's like 5 million or 8 million or whatever it is,
Yeah.
Greg,
But
we
Yeah.
still
that's
need
interesting.
to hear your Maldives.
Yeah. Well, Newark, New Jersey is always one of those
Oh,
that
marvelous.
people fantasize
Marvelous.
about, and I think it's finally, ready to be the location,
Great
the
honeymoon destination.
buzzworthy. But
Instagram, yeah, I love it.
personally, what I'm excited about is I've been lately, just by chance finding my way to sort of second tier cities and places cities that I had never heard of. I suspect most Americans have never heard of, and I find that much more interesting than going to the big places that everybody knows about, that all the tourists are there, that everything is designed around tourists with great big mobs of tours going everywhere. So as far as I can't name a specific place because I don't know where I'm going next, but I'm excited about like continuing to do that, like
Hmm.
actually seek out those places that I haven't heard of, but are going to be really cool anyway.
Do you have a specific example?
My wife and I were just in Bamberg, Germany, which
Ah,
have any of you heard of that before I mentioned
I
it?
don't think so.
It's
I
an
heard about it
awesome,
because you
awesome.
posted pictures.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
It's an awesome town. And
it looked adorable.
it's beautiful. And it has like, 1,000-year-old cathedral sitting up on a hill that's just, really stunning. And it has gorgeous little streets that wind around. These rivers go through town, and people like fish right from their balconies onto the river and things like that. And it's fantastic. And it's not that it's not a tourist destination. A lot of Europeans go there. It's definitely set up for tourists, but you don't hear many American accents there. And I just really enjoyed that. Another one was in the Netherlands, going to Utrecht instead of Amsterdam, which is, I think, a prettier city, and again, much less crowded than Amsterdam itself. I would go to Utrecht over Amsterdam any day of the week in the
Yeah,
future.
yeah. I
Okay,
think
Carrie, it's an
there's,
all play though. You need to contribute your answer as well.
yeah, I can throw a few things in the hat. There's so many islands.
There's
Like
a lot of
we don't
islands.
we don't even have to veer from the Maldives-esque feel like the Cook Islands. I don't hear anyone talking about the Cook Islands, and those are totally worth visiting. Guam, Saipan, it's like offbeat Hawaii sort of, and Micronesia. Anyway, there's a lot of islands worth visiting that are quieter and cheaper and just as beautiful, and crazy snorkeling and great beaches, and just just go to Rarotonga or something, you know?
So you think Saipan is going to be the next Maldives?
Probably not Saipan. Saipan's pretty small.
Yeah.
But maybe I don't know, maybe one of those Cook Islands,
Rarotonga, yeah, totally.
something like that.
Is it
Totally.
worth going even if there's no DoubleTree to get those cookies?
I think there's a double tr nope,
There is a double tree at
is
Saipan,
there
actually. I'm pretty
Is
sure there
there?
is. I
There
think
I
is
know
so.
there's a
There you
Hyatt.
go.
I
think
stayed at
there
the
is
Hyatt Regency
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
so I know
I
there's
think
a Hyatt
there is a double
Regency.
tree. There's a Hilton
yeah.
property there, I'm pretty sure. I think it's a double
Could be.
tree.
Although
It could be.
I wouldn't stay there. Use that to bounce off to, like, I don't know, Yap or something. I don't know. Anyway, some of those are still on my bucket list. Those little Micronesian places. All right. This was great. Thanks for thanks for meeting up with us, asking us questions again. We do this once a month, the first Wednesday of every month at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So come join us next month and we'll do this all over again.
And
And
don't
don't
forget,
forget, make
wherever you're
sure to
watching
like
or
this
listening.
video.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Sorry.
go ahead,
Yes.
Nick.
Like the video, and don't forget to go to frequentmiler.com/subscribe. Join our email list. Follow us on all the various social media. Thank you guys very much. We will